Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. What is today? Today is Thursday. It is Patreon Day. I mean, not Patreon, sorry. It is Haunting Adeline Day. Oh, man, I don't know why I got my days mixed up. I fucked up the air horn and everything. Hold on. Take 2/marker. What is today? Today is Haunting Adeline Day. There we go. Damn it, I fucked that one up. Oh, shit. It's all good. You know, we do it live. It is what it is, brother. Okay? It's all good. Love you guys, man. Thank you guys for being here. You guys, we have a juicy episode for you today. Haunting Adeline, man, we're almost done. We're almost done with Haunting Adeline. It's crazy. It's crazy to think we are almost done with Haunting Adeline. We have today and next week. So next week on Thursday, we'll be finishing up Haunting Adeline Book 2. And boy, do I got a juicy book for you guys waiting. Ooh, I'm excited. Very, very excited. I got a lot of recommendations. I wrote them all down, so don't worry. Even if we don't get to your recommendation, we definitely will, all right? I got you, all right? So don't worry. If you are a commenter that has commented some books down, I have written them down. I have a whole notes thing in my phone for like book ideas, and all of them there. I got you. All right. So if we don't get to your book just then, we will get to it eventually. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get into today's thread. And then after the thread, we will get right into Haunting Adeline. I think we have chapters 40 and 41 today. All right. So let's do this. Today's thread is, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? Okay. So, kid known as the Mad Shitter defecated everywhere but in toilets. All boys prep school. Kids' behavior just kept escalating. Floor of stalls, bathroom radiator, empty classroom, stairwell. Dean of students was getting increasingly pissed, yelling at us over the PA daily. It all came down when he shit inside a piano in the music room and got caught on camera. His rich parents donated a new grand piano and wasn't even expelled. That's crazy. My man was just doo-dooing all over the school. That's crazy. I wonder what made this kid do that. You know, like, did he just wake up one day and was just like, you know what, I'm going to doo-doo all over the school. I'm going to just doo-doo in random places. I'm going to doo-doo in there, and I'm going to doo-doo on that, and I'm going to doo-doo in this. Like, what the fuck? That's kind of crazy. Damn. And then the fact that he didn't get expelled is wow. Hey, shout out to rich parents, I guess, huh? All right, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? A teacher marrying a student the summer she graduated and turned 18.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
That's crazy. Yo, imagine marrying your student the moment she turned 18. Wow. Damn. Woo! Hey, I mean, hopefully she enjoys that teacher salary. You know, hey, hopefully she enjoys that teacher salary. That's crazy. I wonder what would even make a girl want to, like, be with a teacher or even marry a teacher. You know, obviously boys, you know, we want to fuck our teachers. We don't want to marry them bitches, but we want to fuck them. But as far as, like, marrying him, that's wild. I mean, shit. He probably, you know what I mean? I can see it in the comments now. That nigga was grooming. Hey, I probably would agree with you. I ain't gonna lie. I probably would agree with you. That's wild. That's wild. All right, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? Not my high school, but my wife's. Every year, the final year students, equivalent to senior, I guess, this is New Zealand, would always organize a school prank. It was a tradition and usually petty, harmless, but one year they got some petrol gasoline and used it to draw an enormous cock on the soccer field. Petrol kills grass, so it's easily visible from the air, where the school principal saw it while flying into the city. What the fuck? What do you mean flying into the city? Who the fuck is this principal? Man, it was on Google Maps satellite view for years. Absolutely beautiful. That's cool. That is cool. That's a dope prank. I won't lie to you. Something that you can see on Google, that is a legendary prank. They pretty much etched that prank into existence for years to come. That's cool as hell, man. That is cool as fuck. I remember our senior prank. We glued the locks to some of the teachers' classrooms so they couldn't get inside. That shit was wild. They had to get like maintenance dudes to like a bunch of doors. It was wild because there was one teacher that was just like, what the fuck is going on? They're using their key and everything. They cannot get into the classroom. And so then the maintenance guy comes in. He's like, oh, what the fuck? There's like all this glue in here and blah, 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 blah. He fixes the issue, right? Then the maintenance guy drives off. Then, not like 5 minutes later, another teacher's like, what the fuck? My lock won't work. Like, what is going on? Maintenance guy had to turn around, come back, and he's like, fuck, there's glue in this thing. The other teacher had the same problem. Dude thinks, okay, problem's fixed. We're good. Not 5 minutes later, another teacher. And then another one. It was bad. I was like, yo, that shit was legendary. I won't lie to you, man. That was that maintenance guy's worst fucking day. Oh man, and we did it all to the teachers that we didn't like, and the teachers that were like notorious for just being horrible. And they're just being annoying teachers. So we were like, yeah, we gonna get them motherfuckers back good. We gonna get them good. Fuck them. Yeah, we got them good too. Yeah, that was our senior prank. Nothing as legendary as this one, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's all about the story. All right, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? One of our high school teachers getting divorced partway through the year, then marrying one of his students the month after she graduated, or the fact that 7 of the 9 seniors on the varsity wrestling team either had kids or had one on the way. Yo, that is insane. Yo, this whole like chicks marrying their teachers out of high school. What in the hell? Is this a common thing now? Because I had never heard of any of this until this thread. God damn. Wow. I want to know where y'all live. What state y'all in? Because there's no way this is happening in like a metropolitan city, you know, like a Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, New York, Philadelphia, like there's, you know, Atlanta. There's no way. This gotta be in like Kansas or Ohio or Wyoming, or, you know, like this has gotta be some like middle of nowhere backwater shit. There's no fucking way that there are girls marrying their teachers out of high school. That's wild. Damn. Oh shit. And then the whole like 7 of the 9 seniors having kids. Wow. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, you know, the senior year, we did have some pregnant chicks, definitely, you know. I didn't graduate with my class normally. I graduated with the summer school kids because I was stupid. And so when I graduated, like in July time, there was a girl that was in there that was pregnant. And it was crazy because like she was pregnant, but she was still letting dudes fuck her. And it was crazy. I was like, what the hell? And it was crazy because one of my homies at the time, he was like, hey, yo, man. He was like, you should get some. And I'm like, Nah, I'm good. And my thing is like, I would have, but she had the pregnant belly, and I was like, that's just weird to me. You know what I mean? And niggas were like, oh, no, you can nut in her and she ain't gonna get more pregnant. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Yeah, that should be wild, bro. That should be wild. And it's funny because her baby daddy, he graduated with like the normal class. You know, he graduated, and then so he's over here thinking like, yeah, you know, she's going to summer school, just trying to get, you know, her diploma. Nah, she was fucking. Man, she was fucking. It was wild. All right. What was the biggest scandal in your high school? The son of the teachers OD'd on DXM one day and had to be removed via ambulance. He was out from the school for a bit, but then literally the first day he was back, he OD'd again and had to have an ambulance called again. Yo! This little nigga was just ODing. And that was the teacher's kid. That was the teacher's kid, mind you. They're like, yo, nigga, what kind of household you running? You just letting this kid just OD on shit. Whoa, man, that's crazy. That is crazy. Wow.
Bruh.
Damn. Absolutely crazy. Oh, my God. Like, get your shit together, man. Oh, I wonder what was making him OD. You know what I mean? Like, did he have a hard time, or was he getting like bullied because his dad was the teacher or something? You know, like, or his mom was the teacher. I don't know if it was mom or dad. It could have been either or, but yeah, I think that's crazy. Sheesh. All right, on to our next one. What was the biggest scandal in your high school? A girl in my year level, her dad had a psychotic break, stabbed the mom, and carved a Z in her face. Then came to school looking for the girl. We went into lockdown.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
That's crazy. Yo, imagine you're just like in class, and then I don't know, or like the principal or whoever comes over the PA, and they're like, oh, we're going into lockdown, something's going on school premises, this and that, and then they find out that it's your dad, and he's covered in blood with a knife, walking around the school trying to find you. Imagine trying to find you. Imagine. I'd be scared for my fucking life. And then think about it. Your mom is dead. Your dad is about to either die or go to jail for life, mind you, because that's easily first degree murder. He gonna get 25 to life. There's no fucking way. Probably with no possible parole. I mean, he might be able to plead insanity and get, you know, the 20 years, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Because she did say it was a psychotic break, so they could plead insanity and only give him 20 years. But if I'm being straight, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Being in that kid's shoes, oh my God. Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck. Damn. All right, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? The president of the Moms Against Drunk Drivers and DARE was arrested for DUI. Ain't that some shit? That's crazy. She's over here telling people, don't drink and drive. Drugs are for bad people. No bullying. This bitch out here drunk driving. That's wild, bruh. That is crazy. Hey, man, some people got vices and they just can't get rid of them, you know, and some people have what I like to call the pastor effect, you know, where they are holier than thou in certain situations, and then other situations, and they be caught lacking. Oh, man. All right, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? All right. There were several, but my favorite was my freshman year. The senior class prank was somehow they broke into the school overnight and covered all the floors with cooking oil. When I got to school that day, everyone was outside waiting and no one knew exactly what was going on. But all the doors were still locked, but I got to a window just in time to see the janitor fall on his rear and other school officials struggling to keep their balance. The principal came out and told everyone about the prank and the oil and that there was simply no way of opening the school that day. So we all went back home. He did ask all seniors, though, to stick around and called all seniors' parents and basically blamed all of them and told them they were going to help clean it up. Turns out the only way to open the school the next day was to buy hundreds of pounds of kitty litter, and the seniors helped to spread it out in the hallways to soak up the oil and make it walkable. So for the rest of the week, we were walking on kitty litter, and then they brought in a professional cleaning crew on the weekend to haul out the kitty litter and use chemicals to get rid of the lingering oil. It was still slippery for months after that. The principal wanted to press charges for vandalism and tried to get anyone to admit who was responsible, even going as far as threatening to cancel graduation. Whoa! He was like, nah, nigga, none of y'all getting your diplomas. Fuck all y'all kids. Damn. But no one talked, and he just finally had to let it go. Damn, he had to take the L on that one. Yeah, because I think it's a thing where he can't necessarily stop you from being awarded your diploma. I mean, he can make it to where they don't hold a ceremony. He could do that. But as far as the actual, acquiring of your diploma, like, he has to give that to you. So he was like, fuck, man. And honestly, man, none of them kids are going to tell you. It's like, what the hell? Especially because you out here trying to press charges and all that stuff. Like, come on, man. I get it. It's vandalism, technically. But, I mean, that's a funny prank. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, oil is wild just because there ain't really no easy way to clean up oil. But, damn, that's wild. Shit. Hey, at least you got to go home, though. That's dope. You get to school, and then you find out that the seniors kind of pretty much gave you a day off. I'd have been like, hey, you know what I mean? Let's go. Appreciate you, seniors. All right. What was the biggest scandal in your high school? A kid snuck into the school bus garage and cut all the brake lines so we didn't have to go to school the next day. He went to prison for a while. Yo. So much for missing a day of school. Nigga, you missed school for probably a couple years. Damn. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, because you could have killed somebody, man. You could have killed one of them bus drivers. You could have killed some kids. You never know. Sheesh. Oh, man. Damn. Yeah, dude. You got to think some shit through before you actually do it sometimes. You know what I mean? Gotta think some shit through because sometimes it ain't worth it. Sometimes it ain't worth it. You know what I mean? Dang. All right. What was the biggest scandal in your high school? A senior was arrested for child pee. Oh, damn. Because he created a website that posted nude pictures of girls at our high school. Whoa. That's crazy. Oh, damn. I wonder how they dealt with that. Because, I mean, technically, it's a minor, you know what I mean, exposing minors, so it's not really considered like that. But I get it. I don't know. I'm sure there's some legal shit to that, but damn. And I'm sure, he thought he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of money and all this kind of stuff. It's like, bro, nah, man, that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it, my guy. Damn. I wonder how he was getting the pictures, where he was getting the pictures, Like, was he just asking some of the girls, or was he just like in the locker room snapping some pictures? Like, I wonder what he was doing to get them. Because, dude, he had to be crafty to do some shit like that. So much to the point where they're arresting him over it. because I'm sure it wasn't just like 2 or 3 pictures. I'm sure it was quite a bit of pictures. Damn. All right, we're going to do 2 more, and then we'll end this thread. All right, what was the biggest scandal in your high school? English teacher was somehow passing a girl who only showed up for 30% of classes. Nothing was said aloud, but then they caught her leaving in his car one day. So you can imagine what was going on. He was fired. The parents pulled the girl from the school, and we never saw her again. Can't even find her on socials. Woo! Yeah, because they probably sent her old hoe ass to Saudi Arabia or some shit. They was like, bitch, you're going to be wiped off the face of this earth. The hell are you doing? I'm sucking your teacher off for some grades. Woo, man. Is this what the kids are doing now? Wild. I need to go be a teacher. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm fucking around. But damn, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, they probably sent her ass to like an all-girls school, or they probably sent her to military school or some shit. Yeah, they probably were like, we straightening your bitch ass up because you need it. Yeah. All right, it's going to be the last one for this thread. What was the biggest scandal in your high school? Middle school girl murdered her parents?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay. Her name alphabetically was next to mine, so my picture was on the news a lot as they did not pan in tight enough in the yearbook. We never saw her again. Yeah, facts, because she's probably in juvenile hall for life, and then she's going to transfer over to prison. Fuck are we talking about? She ain't ever getting out. You first degree murdered both of your parents. I wonder why. That's crazy. I wonder why. Now, I mean, I understand, okay, if it was a situation where maybe, dad was raping her or whatever and mom wasn't really doing nothing about it, then, I mean, it's not justified, but I could see why she would have that kind of conclusion in her head. But at the same time, it's like, yo, you know what I mean? It's like, killing them is kind of crazy. Shit. And think about it. Like going to school with somebody like that, like, damn, imagine you're like, bro, I sat next to that girl. You know what I mean? I sat next to that girl. Or even if you were friends with her, like, yo, I was friends with that girl. Like, I knew her. Like, she could have easily killed me. Bro. Woo! Yeah, man. Yeah. That's going to be the end of that thread, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that thread. Woo, that was juicy. Oh, my God, that was juicy. From the teachers marrying their students as soon as they turn 18 to the, students killing their parents to the parents killing their mom and then being on campus looking for their child to murder next. Like, woo, it's crazy. Man. All right. But that's going to be that thread. I'm going to hop through announcements quickly, and we'll get you on to the book for chapters 40 and 41. All right? So patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get that exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. All right? Appreciate all the support you guys have been showing. You guys have been doing amazing support, and I love it so much. If you're on audio listening platforms, please keep downloading the podcast as well as rating us 5 stars. Helps out a lot, and I do appreciate it so much from the bottom of my heart. And guess what? Downloading and rating us 5 stars is free, baby. And if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, as well as YouTube. All right, like the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I appreciate you so much. All right. Every Monday, we go live, 5 p.m. So if you ever want to catch a live stream, Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, okay? That's when I go live. So you can check me out on TikTok. Not TikTok. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, okay? I have all the links down in the description, so if you would like, you can click on the link, follow me there, and when I'm live, it should give you a notification. If you want to watch on YouTube, you can watch on YouTube. It's all good. I have all my chats linked up, and they'll all show up. so I can read you guys' chats and all that good stuff. And just get in there, talk to me. We can have some conversation. So, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to talk about while I'm playing the game, or, you know, we can just chat if you want to do that. I've done it on previous live streams. We've just had, you know, people come in and they just want to just chat and hang out and do whatever. You know what I mean? It's for you to ask me whatever you want to ask me, talk to me, and, you know, get to know me. I'm an open book. I don't mind if you want to come in there and just talk some shit. You can do that too. I've had people come in and just talk some shit, and it is what it is. All right. So get on in there. Like I said, we go live every Monday, 5 p.m. Sometimes I go live on Friday at the same time, 5 p.m. So, I will get better at like notifying you guys. I'll probably put up a community post, or I will go ahead and do like a story on Instagram or something like that. So that way you guys know that I'm live. I need to get better at doing that. I do apologize. I'm not good at doing that stuff. So I will try to get better at maybe notifying you guys. But again, I try to notify you guys on the episodes as well, just because it's easier to do that. You're already here. You're already watching. So again, Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So wherever you live in the world, because I know all y'all motherfuckers is from all over the world. So 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is when we go live on Monday. And then if I go live on Friday, it'll be the same time, and I'll notify you guys. All right. So love you all. Let's get into Haunting Adeline, chapters 40 and 41. All right. So let's move you guys over, and we'll get right on into that.
Chapter 41. The Hunter. I'm surprised to find Jay sitting on the couch next to Daya, both tapping away on their computers. He jumped about 10 feet when we walked in, still clearly spooked by the manner. "Which ghost fucked with you?" I ask, smirking. "Dude, I swear to God, I was taking a piss and something breathed down my neck. I was just waiting for it to try to give me a reach around." Daya looks at me, a droll expression on her face.
I told him to come talk to me when he goes in the attic. I'm still mad at Addie for that one.
Addie's eyes widen.
It was one time.
She defends.
And nothing happened to you.
She finishes on a mutter, plopping down on the couch across from her. I take a seat next to Addie while Sibby growls and slams a drawer in the kitchen, mad about something. Again.
I lost my peace of mind. That's what happened to me.
Daya retorts.
That demon could have gotten attached to me, and then I would have brought it home and lived in torment for the rest of my life. Could you blame it? You're the whole package.
Addie says, grinning when Daya narrows her eyes.
Flattering me only works sometimes. Is it working now? A little. Have you guys seen my pink knife?
Sibby screeches from the kitchen, frantically opening and closing drawers and cupboards. I've grown to care for Sibby deeply, like an irritating psychotic kid sister. But fuck, I'm going to have to find a home and job for her, give her a purpose in life outside of annoying the ever-loving fuck out of me. "Did you ask Jackal?" I ask, arching a brow when she looks at me with narrowed eyes. She knows damn well I'm referring to the time she felt the need to share with the class that Jackal fucked her ass with her knife, as if anyone wanted to know that.
He only used it on me that one time, and I think I'd remember getting a knife shoved up my... Maybe you dropped it somewhere in your room?
Addie cuts in urgently. She huffs.
I already checked there, but I'll look again.
She mutters, trudging towards the stairs with a frown. The only other thing capable of sending her into a tailspin outside of losing her henchman is losing that knife. Jay clears his throat, cheeks red as his gaze flickers to Sibby, partially intrigued and partially disturbed. "I think I know who Claire's partners are now, finally," Jay announces, bringing the topic away from ghosts and getting fucked with knives by imaginary people. My brows jump in surprise. "Yeah?" "We've concluded that if we can get to her partners, it'll be much easier to draw Claire off her comfy little island. I'm ready to say fuck it and bomb it. I could get a hold of the resources, but it'd take too long, and as tempted as I am to gather as many people as I can in the Z organization and invade her island, she has a small army there, and I'm not willing to sacrifice so many valuable lives for the bitch. Not when I can sacrifice the lives of her partners instead. As you know, she's been communicating with 2 sources, but their IP addresses were untraceable, and the identities hidden. But sending the drone out was successful, and I just got intel that she booked a flight for those same two people to visit her. Their names were on the flight log, he tells me, pulling up the information and twirling his laptop to show me. Gary Lawson and Jeffrey Shelton.
They're both lobbyists.
Dia chips in. Fitting, I murmur, looking over the pictures of the two men on Jay's screen. Typical creepy-looking old men who get hard-ons for little children and making Americans as miserable as possible while living lavishly. When are the flights? Jay grins, his hazel eyes blazing with excitement. Tomorrow. They're departing from a private airport in Los Angeles. I turn to Addie and notice a tiny twig sticking from her hair, along with pieces of bark, dirt, and a small leaf. There are also small blood spots that are beginning to soak through her blue t-shirt, though she's trying her best to conceal them. Worst of all, there's already a deep bruise forming around her throat, and I'd be a goddamn liar if I said that didn't make my dick hard all over again. It takes effort to bite back my smile. She looks thoroughly ravaged, and she's attempting to appear as if she hadn't been. Glancing at me, she shoots me a look that says, "Shut up or else." The grin begins to slip through. Such a scary little mouse. But just this once, I'll listen. Which is really hard to do when Dia is staring at her too, brows raised. Addie just thins her lips, and I have a feeling they'll be discussing in detail just how intimate she became with what nature has to offer. That gives us just enough time to intercept their flight. Addie cocks her head to the side, curious.
What are you planning on doing exactly?
Now I let the grin loose, the savagery bleeding through. I know exactly how we're going to make her come to us. Her brows knit in curiosity.
Which is how exactly?
I train my gaze on Jay, and though he looks just as curious, he also looks wary. Shithead never approves of my plans, which is stupid. They're awesome. Gary Lawson and Jeffrey Shelton are going to get in a confrontation with Z, and guess who loses?
Them?
Addie guesses confidently. No, baby. Me. Addie bounces on her toes, nervous energy radiating from her in waves. She's been restless since we had arrived at the airport a couple of hours ago. We flew to LA as quickly as we could, just to give us time to plan and prepare. Now we're waiting in the private jet on the airstrip, and she's started morphing into the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes. Why don't you take a seat? They're comfortable as fuck, I suggest. To emphasize my point, I kick my feet up on the little brown wooden table in front of me and recline back.
How can you be so relaxed right now?
She asks, but she's looking at the seat like maybe it wouldn't hurt if her ass sat in it for just a second. This is the least exciting thing I've ever done while on the job. She arches a brow, and if I didn't know any better, I'd think she was offended.
Well, that's fucking rude,
she says dryly. Definitely offended. I grin. Would you like to go up to the front seat and fuck next to the dead pilot? I query, very interested in what her answer will be. She always surprises me. Right as she opens her mouth, distant voices arise, distracting her like a dog spotting a cat. Damn, I'll have to pull that answer out of her later. The voices draw nearer, and she instantly stands, rolling her shoulders to release the tension lining them. She hasn't gotten accustomed to going on missions yet, and her anxiety persists despite her being able to fight. There are some days she gets through my defenses even and knocks me on my ass, but the way she looks right now, it's as if she's about to appear before a judge and get sentenced to life or some shit. Don't underestimate yourself, Adeline. I draw lazily, my muscles languid and relaxed. They usually are when blood is about to spill all over my hands.
I'm not.
She defends.
They're old, saggy men. They're security guards.
Are my men, I finish. Addie's mouth forms an O.
You sneaky dog,
she whispers, a smile tipping up her plump lips. Those caramel orbs stare at me with an amused glint. We both quiet as the two men and their respective guards approach the steps and start climbing, the metal ringing beneath their weight. She's going to have to come back to the States eventually, one of them mutters, sounding irritated. The first person that breaches the entryway is Michael, and I almost laugh when he slides his gun from his holster and points it at me. Jeff and Gary follow behind. with another one of my men, Baron, taking up the back. "What is going on here?" Gary exclaims, the two old men pausing and backing up the moment they spot us. I lift a hand in a hello gesture. "I've come to turn myself in, Gary. Why else would I be here?" "Turn yours? What on earth are you talking about? Who are you?" "Ah, terribly sorry," I say, grinning. I reach over to the seat beside me, grab my mask, and hold it over my face. "How about now?" It's comical how quickly they pale, and their eyes widen, recognizing my mask from my television appearance. Tossing it to the side, I tease. "Do you like my presentation? I was really nervous." Gary sputters, unsure how to respond. I stand and they immediately back away, two bumbling idiots that bump into Baron in an attempt to create distance, but the mercenary is like a brick wall. Jeff turns to Michael, his face now beginning to redden. "Why aren't you shooting him? Shoot him!" Michael just stares at him blankly, causing his face to purple. Then he drops his gun, smiling when Jeff begins to sputter incoherently. "I see you've gotten comfortable behind the smokescreen," I observe, content in shouting demands and secure with no one ever knowing who you are.
Laziness.
Addie tacks on. Her body is relaxed now, and in place of her anxiety-ridden stance, she's a suave feline, her claws extended and ready to slice some throats open. The prey becomes the predator. She's the most beautiful creature I ever did see. Gary trains his glare on her, lasers shooting from his eyes, but if he expects that to intimidate her, he's sadly mistaken. "And who the hell are you?" She turns to me, a silly smile on her face.
I really wanted to say something cheesy right there. Your worst nightmare.
She mocks, eyes widen comically as she faces Gary again. He snarls at her, clearly unamused. I, on the other hand, am smiling like an idiot. She waves a hand casually.
No, really. I'm the diamond you all are so fond of. I'm kind of offended that you don't recognize me, especially because you guys are on my ass so damn much.
Jeff's face drops, clarity surfacing now that he realizes who she is.
Obviously, it was Claire's brilliant idea to go after my parents, but did either of you have anything to do with that too?
Addie asks, a darkness slithering over her features. Gone is the light-hearted humor. Gary can't even hide the sick triumph on his face. Addie catches the look immediately, and without saying anything further, she raises her gun and shoots him directly in the kneecap, face blank. The old man's eyes pop, and he instantly collapses in a fit of screams and blood. Jeff bumps into Baron again, sweat gleaming from his receding hairline as he stares down at his partner with an ashen complexion. "You fucking bitch!" Gary exclaims. Anger licks at my nerves, so I shoot his other knee, eliciting another pained scream from his throat. Michael and Baron shake their heads, staring at the pair like they're the dumbest people alive. I'd have to agree. "Now we're going to have to carry you out, Gary. You're such an inconvenience. So here's how it's going to go. You're going to come with us, and we're going back to Seattle and to a nice secluded location where I am going to be tied up and gagged. Maybe I'll let my girl get a few punches in on me, too. Addie here will be tied up as well, but no one is touching her." Even in his state, Gary looks up at me with incredulity. "Then you're going to call Claire and let her know that you've captured Z and the diamond. Tell her to come to you instead now that we've been apprehended." "Why on earth would we do that?" Jeff asks, his face twitching from a mix of emotions. "I think it's time Claire comes out to play, don't you? She's been hiding long enough." Jeff and Gary glance at each other, the latter sweating rivers down his flaming red face from the agony. "I don't want any part of your scheme," Jeff starts. But I raise a hand, cutting off whatever useless shit was about to pour from his mouth. "That's the thing, Jeffrey. You don't have a fucking choice." Jeffrey still thinks he has a choice. The entire flight and drive to the location in Seattle, he pleads his case. It was all Claire's idea. They just endorse her business ventures and help her with logistics and money. Blah, blah, blah. It isn't until Addie crawls from the passenger seat to the back and presses her gun into his knee that he finally shuts the fuck up, clicking his dentures so tightly together they just might become permanent. Michael drives us to an abandoned wine distillery corroded from nature. It reminds me of Parsons Manor almost, scrawling with overgrown vines, threading up the side of the gray stone walls, and a lone building in a field of grapes and tall green grass. The van jostles from the uneven dirt path, nearly swallowed by the plant life surrounding it. Gary is on the floor, cradling his bloody knees, growing paler with each bump. Baron wrapped them up to stem the bleeding, but he looks on the verge of passing out. Once that happens, he won't live much longer. If he dies, he dies. We only need one of them anyway. Michael parks the van outside the building and jumps out, going ahead of us to break down the boarded doors while Baron helps me carry Gary's useless body out of the van. The inside of the distillery is just as haunting as the outside. The vines have infected the interior walls as well. Weeds poke through the cracked foundation, their own stems stretching across the floor. It's a massive open space, some of the machinery left over, rusted and pockmarked. Exposed pipes are threaded through the ceiling, and a few of them are beginning to break and droop. I drag Gary off to the side and position him directly under a hanging pipe, letting Jesus decide if he wants to send that heavy piece of metal crashing down on his head. If he pisses me off enough, I might even shoot it down myself. I drop him unkindly, ignoring his curses, while Baron escorts Jeff inside, having him stand beside his crippled partner. Addie's carrying 3 metal chairs in, with several ropes wrapped around her arms. I'd offer to help, but she'd have my balls for it. I'd gladly hand them over anyway. She's grown into her strength and independence so much since she survived trafficking, and there are times my chest physically aches from both pride and the need to fuck her. She glances at me, a carnal smile on her face as she sets the chairs down and opens them up. I stalk toward her, delighting in the way her little body tightens with need. A black and blue ring stains her throat, and every time I see it, the beast trapped in my ribcage thrashes. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you're excited to hurt me, I murmur, desire flaring as I watch her round hips sway.
You'll be the helpless little kitty cat.
She coos, grinning wider when I give her a dark look. Will you still think so when you're trapped between my teeth? I grab her by the throat and bring her in close, her caramel eyes dilating with lust. I brush my lips across the side of her mouth, drawing out a shuddered exhale. I was only ever helpless when I fell in love with you, and you may hold all the power over me, little mouse, but I've never been defenseless. Don't mistake my lack of control for weakness. All the ways I've hurt you have always been intentional. She bites back a smile right before her fist rears back and lands directly in the side of my cheek. My vision blackens for a brief moment, and then my equilibrium teeters as she spins me around and pushes me back into the metal chair. My weight nearly sends it crashing backward, but her foot catches on the chair between my legs, stopping me from falling, but coming very fucking close to crushing my dick. It feels like my bones are cracking from the monster inside me, fighting to get out, and a growl works past my lips. Just as I go to charge back at her, she's grabbing me by the throat, pushing me back down and climbing on top of me, straddling my waist with her thick thighs. My hands land on her hips and squeeze while she leans forward.
Don't mistake my submission for weakness, baby.
She breathes into my ear, voice husky with desire.
All the ways I'm going to hurt you will be intentional.
Before I can begin to form the threats rising up my throat, her lips are crashing into mine, not only silencing my dark promises, but completely ripping them to pieces. Her mouth moves over mine savagely, and I'm lost to the way she commands me. I could flip her so effortlessly, but I fucking love bowing to the dark little goddess. Grabbing my hands, she forces them behind the chair, clamping them together. A sharp pain pierces my bottom lip, her teeth sinking into the tender flesh and drawing blood. Before I can snap back, she pulls away and looks over my face with pride. It's only then I notice the rope is tightly secured around my wrists. If I wasn't seconds away from ripping her throat out and fucking her blind, I'd be impressed.
Black eye and a bloody lip. I think that's enough kicking your ass for now.
She firmly slaps my cheek in a good job, sport type of way before lifting off of me and settling in the chair beside me. All I can do is stare at her and fantasize about the ways I'm going to punish her for that later. But just as well my cock is harder than granite because that was probably one of the hottest things I've ever experienced in my life. Every time I think I've never been harder, she goes and proves me wrong. Sensing my insidious thoughts, she rolls her shoulders, feigning boredom. Addie has always been a runner, especially from the truth. "If you're done with your foreplay, let's finish this, yeah?" Michael says, standing next to a red-faced Jeff with his arms crossed and a bored look on his face as well. The punk is also a liar and probably adjusted himself while I was distracted. Gary is still groaning on the floor, and Jeff shifts uncomfortably next to him, eyes bouncing everywhere else, avoiding my stare. Taking a deep breath, I try to focus back on the situation. Doesn't look like we hit the femoral arteries, so he's going to have a very slow death. We'll let him suffer there in the corner for now. Michael nods and grabs Jeff by the arm and hauls him in front of us.
"Tie me up, Baron,"
Addie says to my mercenary, who's been leaning against the wall to my right. She's smirking because she knows damn well how suggestive that sounded. "Are you trying to get me killed?" Baron asks, his deep baritone voice pitching higher. Addie rolls her eyes.
"I won't let him kill you."
She shouldn't be so sure about that, but I keep my mouth shut and my stare sharp when he gives in, knowing that him or Michael are the only options to tie her up, considering she already bound my hands. Baron makes quick work of the rope, stepping away before I can find a reason to cut his hands off. Who am I kidding? I don't need a reason. Michael turns to Jeff. "Give me your phone," he demands, then rudely snatches the device from the old man's hand the second he pulls it from his pocket. "All right, kids, look like your asses just got kicked by two old men that throw their backs out just from lifting their small dicks to piss." He could have just said "say cheese" and had the same outcome. I glare at him and Addie turns her head away, squeezing her eyes shut like she's too ashamed to have her picture taken. Make it a little shaky with a shitty angle and voila, a typical picture taken by a degenerate, Michael says, smiling in victory after he snaps the photo. Then he turns the phone to Jeff. "What would you typically say if you took a picture like that?" Jeff glances at the image. "That we wasted money on all of the other stupid fucks and should have done it ourselves from the start?" He spits. Once he realizes that he helped Michael's message appear authentic by literally taking the words out of his mouth, his eyes darken with rage. Michael's fingers fly over the keyboard, mouthing the words aloud as he types them just to piss Jeff off. Then he pauses and looks to the old man with a shit-eating grin. "Hey, how do you spell stupid?" A vein pulses on Jeff's forehead, giving Michael an "are you fucking kidding me" look. Michael just stares, intent on making him spell the word. Snarling, he spits each letter through gritted teeth. When finished typing, Michael slaps him on the back of the shoulder roughly and says, "Thanks, man. Would be lost without you." Addie snickers, and now I'm going to have to cut Michael too, just for making my girl laugh. "Z has officially been captured," he announces, clicking the send button with triumph. "And now we wait." "I hope you're not stupid enough to tell Claire they kicked our asses," I tell Michael, nodding towards Jeff. He waves a hand. "Don't worry, princess. She'll know it took the entire military to bring down the big bad wolf. Your reputation won't be tarnished. I'm not worried about my rep. It's simply just not believable."
Chapter 42. The Diamond. My equilibrium teeters as my feet dangle over the cliff. I'm sitting on the very edge, and I'm just waiting for the earth to give beneath me and send me crashing into the rocks below. I'm balancing on the edge of life and death, and the thrill it gives me is undeniable. My heart is in my stomach, and even though it'd take putting my head between my legs for me to fall over the ledge, it feels like 1 inch forward, and my life is done for. I love it. The sun begins to dip in the cotton candy sky, a beautiful array of colors stretching toward me. I'm not sure if it's the beauty before me or my precarious game with death that makes me feel alive, though both have the power to make me feel insignificant.
"So I see today is the day we both die,"
Zayd announces from behind me, causing me to jump. Why would we both die? Stupid question. I know what he's going to say the moment the last word leaves my mouth.
"Because if you fall, I'll follow after you.
Claire would be happy about that, I say, kicking my feet against the rock. Your death would be the best thing to ever happen to her. To no one's surprise, she asked a million questions before she believed that Jeff and Gary actually captured Zaid and me. He had to explain how he found Z. On their way to L.A., they received intel that Zaid would come after an auction house in Washington, so they quickly set up a coup and captured him. Of course, I came running when I found out he was being held hostage, and voila! Z and the diamond have been captured. When she wanted to do a FaceTime call, we could see the intent in Jeff's eyes from a mile away. The second she got on the call with him, he planned to expose us, but Zaid had already anticipated that. It's not hard to assume the old fart would try to pull one over on us. He's as predictable as he is stupid. Everyone has a weakness. A soft spot like on the back of a baby's head. Hit that spot hard enough, and they're done for. Of all people, his wife, kids, and mistress, his mother was the catalyst. Funny that he's a mama's boy when women are the number one thing he doesn't respect. Bernadette Shelton is nearly on her deathbed anyway. But after one of Zaid's mercenaries took a heartwarming picture of her lying in bed on oxygen and his gun poised on the tank, Jeff decided to act right. He doesn't know that Zaid nearly kicked his employee's ass for it and forced him to leave her an edible arrangement for the scare. But the threat worked regardless. Zaid coached Jeff on the story. He then answered Claire's questions, and she decided it was legitimate enough to come off her cozy island. Mission accomplished. Her flight is 16 hours, so we went back to Parsons to catch up on sleep while Zaid is having a team watch over Jeff at the distillery. Gary, well, he died. He was useless with his blown-out kneecaps, so Michael finally put him out of his misery.
Baby, if you want me dead, I'll hand you the knife to stick in my chest. Sending us both over the cliff would be a little overkill.
And I thought my mom was the dramatic one, I mutter. My back is still to him, but I swear I can hear the fucker grinning.
You're right. You're the sensible one.
Shithead.
You want to tell me why you're out here?
Couldn't sleep. Was hearing the footsteps again, I admit.
Seems like they're manifesting your fears.
He says. His presence closes in on me, and I feel him crouch down beside me. If the ground beneath me wasn't being tested before, it definitely is with his weight.
What do the footsteps remind you of?
He questions, softly, his voice whispering across the shell of my ear. My lack of freedom? I say, staring out at the bay. They remind me of how trapped I was. Every time I'd hear her heels coming toward me, something terrible always followed, and there was never any escaping it. There was one time I heard them and I tried prying all the nails out of the window so I could throw myself out of it. Didn't even care if it killed me. All I accomplished was breaking my nails instead. His hands land on my hips, and he's pulling me back, pressing me into his hard chest.
So sitting on the edge of this cliff makes you feel free?
Yes, I say, turning my head to look up at him. His eyes glitter in the sunlight, and I can't tell which is more dangerous, the edge of this cliff or the way Zaid looks at me. And it makes me feel alive. His hand comes up around my throat, tilting my chin further back. His full lips brush across mine, eliciting sharp tingles throughout my body.
Is it the promise of death that makes you feel alive, little mouse?
Yes, I whisper, electricity dancing between our mouths.
Then we will both taste heaven together,
he murmurs. He kisses me softly and slowly, and I feel every second of it in my soul. Pulling away, he directs,
Face me, baby.
Biting my lip, I spin and lean back on my hands, bending my knees and spreading them apart. His eyes drop, traveling across the curves of my body, sending chills down my spine. He looks at me as if he wants to rip me apart with his teeth, and I don't think I would stop him if he tried. My breath hitches as his hand slips beneath my t-shirt, and I shiver from the feel of his skin on mine. Slowly, he lifts the fabric up until I'm forced to lean forward so he can remove it altogether. I shiver again, the breeze whispering across my heated flesh.
Do you trust me?
He asks. Yes, I answer without hesitation. He plants a hand on my chest and roughly pushes me. I gasp, convinced that I'm about to fall off the cliff, but he catches me. I'm flat on my back, and only my head dangles clear over the edge. but it doesn't calm the absolute panic circulating throughout my system. I lift my head, staring at him with wide eyes, my heart racing. Jesus, I breathe. He smirks, reaches beneath me, and unclasps my bra, my nipples hardening immediately beneath the cool breeze. Then he hovers over me, his warmth seeping into my flesh as he trails his lips over my jaw and down my neck.
He's not the one you should be praying to,
he murmurs darkly, sending shivers rolling down my spine.
Only I will be your salvation.
His fingers grab the waistband of my leggings and tug them down, removing my panties with them. It's warm and muggy outside, but a whole week of rain has put a cool mist in the air, causing my skin to break out in goosebumps.
Head back,
he orders. Swallowing nervously, I do as he says, and I'm overwhelmed by both vertigo and fear. The adrenaline in my system becomes more potent, and my heart pounds erratically. His lips whisper across my chest, over the swells of my breasts and to my nipples. His tongue darts out, flicking one of the hardened peaks before his warm mouth closes over it and sucks harshly. I moan and arch into him, the movement causing my head to slide farther down, and I nearly jump out of my skin. He chuckles darkly, releasing my nipple, then traveling down my body. My heart is nearly coming out of my throat, yet I can feel my thighs growing slick from the thrill, especially as he slowly parts them, nipping at my sensitive skin as he descends toward my center. By the time his hot breath fans across my pussy, my legs are trembling and smarting from the bite of his sharp teeth. He places a soft kiss on my clit, and I jump again when his fingers swipe up my slit, collecting my arousal on his fingers.
Come here,
he orders. I lift my head, dizzy from seeing the world right side up again. He pries my mouth open and places his fingers on my tongue. Instinctively, I suck, and Zaid's nostrils flare.
That's what freedom tastes like. I want you to have that on your tongue while you watch night fall, and I show you how absolute your life is.
His fingers retreat, and he bumps my chin, indicating for me to drop my head again. I do, my vision blurring. Emotion clogs my throat, trapping the flavor in my mouth as he returns to my pussy. I tremble as his tongue slowly slides up my slit, licking me thoroughly and groaning as he does.
Fucking nirvana,
he purrs, dipping his tongue inside me before ascending to my clit. I gasp when he sucks hard, the sunset blurring and my eyelids fluttering as he begins to stroke the sensitive bud. My back arches again, though this time I'm prepared for the small drop and the way it steals my breath. My hands curl, grasping at the grass and pulling roughly when he hits a spot that has a sharp moan exploding from my throat. Zaid, I plead. His fingers rejoin his mouth, two of them plunging inside me and curling, and I roll my hips into his face so roughly I feel my body inch down the edge of the cliff further. Another sound bursts from my throat, crowing at the sharp thrill that makes my heart feel like it's going to combust. His free hand lands on my hip, holding me in place while he devours my pussy, lapping up everything I have to offer like he's a prisoner on death row. And this is his final taste of liberation. There's a smile pulling at the corners of my lips, tears in my eyes and moans falling off the tip of my tongue while I stare at the sunset, finding what I've been searching for. An orgasm settles low in my stomach, sharpening from the feel of my perilous existence, hanging by a thread. His tongue flicks at my clit skillfully, and it takes little effort to send me barreling over. My eyes roll, and a scream ricochets down the jagged rocks and into the water. It feels like I'm close behind, tumbling over the sharp points and into the depths of an ocean I'd gladly drown in. It seems like hours before my body comes down. And right as I do, he's dragging me toward him and flipping me onto my stomach. Disoriented, I'm unable to resist when he pulls me up by my hips, settling me on my knees, with my head still lowered and peeking over the cliff. Gasping, I clutch tightly onto the edge, my fingers digging into dirt and rock as he comes down on me, pushing my chin clear past it. My thighs strain from the effort to keep from pitching forward. His bare cock slides between the crevice of my ass, yet it feels like he's taunting me with a candy-coated bullet. Beneath the delicious illusion is a threatening vow capable of destroying me. Fisting my hair, he tilts my head back the slightest bit, giving me a full view of the scenery.
Have you found absolution yet, baby? Or do you need my cock to give it to you?
His dark words send a chill down my spine, and I shiver from how exquisite it feels. Life could never be complete without you, I moan. A deep, rumbling growl reaches my ears before he pulls his hips back and sinks himself inside me, only getting a few inches in before it becomes too much. I yelp, the burn from his sighs causing me to screw my eyes shut. Fucking hell. He needs goddamn dick reduction surgery. I feel his answering grin, as if hearing my thoughts, and I'm seconds away from throwing us both over the cliff just to spite him.
You take it so fucking good, Adeline.
He purrs in my ear, his tone devilish.
I will never get tired of the feel of your pussy succumbing to me and how you cry so fucking pretty when it does.
On cue, a sharp moan releases from my throat as he inches himself in farther, my body succumbing to him just as he said.
Keep watching,
he says sinfully. Forcing my eyes open, I watch as the sun begins to crest the water, casting the world in a deep red glow. He works himself inside me, pumping in and out slowly until he's seated completely to the hilt, confirming my own words. I'm so full of him, and I've never felt more complete.
You're searching for life inside that sunset, yet I seek death between your thighs.
He rasps, his deep voice husky with desire. Withdrawing to the tip, he thrusts inside me forcefully, and I cry out both from the bliss and the terror of being pushed over the edge. But he doesn't relent and continues to fuck me, testing the strength of the earth beneath us with every stroke. He keeps his hand tightly curled in my hair, bringing me back every time his hips push me forward. I trade between staring out at the water and looking down into the unforgiving rocks that seem to come closer and closer. My vision blackens from the acute pleasure radiating between my thighs, and the sounds that release from my throat are uncontrollable. Oh my God! I sob, and he drives inside me so hard my teeth clack from the force.
You won't find God in the sun when he's already inside you.
He growls, reaching beneath me to find my clit and strum it expertly while hitting that perfect spot inside me, abusing it relentlessly until I erupt, my body going limp from how powerfully I come for him. Zaid! I scream, and I no longer care if I live as long as this feeling never dies. He gnashes his teeth, savagely fucking me until he meets the demise he sought after. A roar tears from his throat, and he drives inside me so deeply the both of us nearly meet our end at the bottom of the cliff. We'd haunt Parsons Manor together, and it's undeniable how much I love the sound of that.
You have a spectacular forehead, my friend,
Zaid says, a cloud of smoke swirling from the depths of his mouth. Jeff is strapped to a metal chair, and Zaid is sitting across from him, puffing on a cigarette with one hand and bouncing a little bouncy ball off his forehead with the other. Where the hell did you even get the ball from? I ask, shaking my head as it rebounds off Jeff's very red face again and back into Zaid's awaiting hand. Our captive is not a happy camper. He's seething at Zaid, his entire body shaking from how heated he is. He shrugs noncommittally.
I found it.
Okay, whatever. The sound of tires crunching through dirt and blades of grass distracts me, and my heart drops with both adrenaline and anticipation. Claire's here, I announce. Zaid only bounces the ball again in response, his posture relaxed as always. There are at least 50 men surrounding the area, all hidden from sight. If shit goes awry, we have plenty of backup.
Jay, she got a battalion with her?
Zaid asks him. The Bluetooth chip in his ear, as always. He'll probably die with it in there.
3? Someone's a nervous Nelly.
He murmurs. 3 cars? I clarify, my anxiety worsening. Sweat forms on my hairline, and I can't tell if I'm nervous there's going to be a full-blown shootout or if I'm nervous to see Claire. The lead-up to the confrontation is what sends my nerves into a tailspin, the anticipation of what's going to happen. Who's going to get hurt or die? Yet, in the midst of the chaos, I find peace, as if I'm standing in the eye of a hurricane. I just hate the calm before the storm.
Did you think she'd come alone?
Jeff snips, staring at me like I'm stupid. I narrow my eyes, tempted to rip that ball from Zaid's hand and bounce it off his forehead myself. Then who'd look stupid? Sensing my train of thought, Zaid vaults the ball off his face without looking away from me, landing back into his hand perfectly, his grin deepening. Thank you. I look at Jeff. Next time, it'll be a bullet. Smartly, he keeps his mouth shut. I was so hoping he wouldn't. Zaid and I stand when car doors slam shut, the green ball dropping from his hand and rolling off into the distance, replaced by a gun. My own weapon is in my hand, my heart pounding heavily as we wait for Claire to enter. Several nerve-wracking moments later, the huge doors open, an entourage entering first, guns raised. Of course, when they spot us, they freeze, awaiting orders from the red-headed devil in the back, slowly breaking through her guards. Just as expected, Jeffrey. Did you really think you were convincing? Claire's musical voice rings out, finally making her way out of the group. They crowd around her, uncomfortable with her being exposed in any capacity, just like she apparently wasn't stupid enough to believe Jeff actually captured us. She also wouldn't believe that we don't have the place surrounded by our own men. It'll be a battle of whose bullet flies the quickest, or whose aim is the truest. My shoulders are tight with tension as I look over the evil bitch who's responsible for so many lost and broken souls. Her bright red hair is perfectly curled around her head, with matching lipstick and black liner smeared over her lids. She dons an all-white pantsuit, which is a message in itself. She expects to walk out of this building with her clothing just as pristine as when she walked in. No blood to be shed, at least not hers. As fucking if. A murderous rage rises, not because she had me kidnapped and nearly sold off to a wicked man, but because she went after my mother. I guess I should thank her for the free therapy for my mommy issues. I'm not sure where we stand right now, but what I do know is there is a desire to fix our relationship that wasn't there before Claire turned my world over and fucked it sideways. Lovely to see you both again, she remarks, her tone posh, as if we're going on a stroll in a garden, holding our little teacups and biscuits. Pious bitch. There's nothing classy about her, nor the way she does business. Why did you come if you knew it was a trap? I ask. This isn't going to end in bloodshed, my dear. I think it's time we settle this. Z has proven to be resourceful, as have I. Instead of fighting each other, I think we can come to an agreement instead. I train my gaze on Zaid, who has his brow arched but an otherwise blank expression. Facing Claire again, I wonder if this is an attempt to get a target from one of the world's most dangerous men off her back. She's right. She is resourceful. The hag has an entire government at her disposal, but she is as weak as the shield she hides behind. Forced to use others to protect herself because she's incapable of doing it herself. She only has the brains behind the operation, but not the strength. Whereas Zaid has both brawn and brains. Claire knows she can't hide on that island forever, not any longer than she can evade Zaid's wrath. She's backed into a corner and knows that Zaid would be hard to kill. She's met her match, and the only way out is with a bargain. Let's sit, shall we?
Let's,
Zaid murmurs, turning his back to grab the back of the chair Jeff is sitting in, literally dump him out of it and motion for me to sit in it, as if he's pulling out my seat in a fine dining restaurant. Claire takes the one across from me, Jeffrey's bound body between us. His face has turned a concerning shade of purple from both anger and embarrassment. Claire hardly glances his way, flicking her eyes to one of her men and ordering, "Dispose of him." Seconds later, a bullet is sluicing through Jeff's brain and out the other side. He's dead before his head hits the floor. Mine and Zaid's gazes clash, an amused glint in his mismatched eyes as he grabs the third chair, twists it, and straddles it backwards, turning his intense gaze to Claire. Her pulse thrums in her neck, and she works to swallow. I snort softly. If I didn't know any better, it seems that her lady bits are no more impervious to Zaid than any other red-blooded woman. Given the chance, she would gladly fuck Zaid before she put a knife in his throat.
Before we start, how about we establish a mutual trust? All of my men are tucked away out of sight, not a single barrel down your throat. So how about you send your cronies to the door? They can stay if they must and will have a perfect shot at me, but they need to back the fuck off, yeah?
Thinning her gaze, she considers Zaid's request for a moment before acquiescing. Reluctantly, her guards spread out across the front entrance, ensuring they all have a perfect view of us.
Lay it on me, Claire. What's your proposition?
Zaid asks, but then holds up a hand to stop her when she opens her mouth.
Make sure it's good, too. You had my girl kidnapped, raped, and tortured, and her mother nearly killed.
Her red-stained lips tighten into a firm line, seeming not to appreciate the reminder of all her wrongdoings. Makes me wonder how the fuck she sleeps at night, or maybe she's secretly a reptile and doesn't need to. That's honestly more believable at this point. I will help you eliminate trafficking, Claire says. When Zaid and I stay silent, processing her offer, she continues, While the skin trade is vastly profitable, there is something more that I desire.
And what is that?
Zaid prompts, voice deep and low. Absolute control over the human population, of course. Right now, people are too self-aware of their useless existence. I want full power. Us both to have full power. My brow pinches, a nasty look on my face.
To do what with?
He asks.
What exactly do you intend to do with this power?
Create a whole new era, of course. We can do anything we want. We could make their lives useful, give them a real purpose. And what would that purpose be? I cut in. To be mindless robots that would serve you? Suffering would end. She snaps, turning her glacial green eyes to me. There really is no soul in there. And this planet would thrive. If humans had real law and order, we could do so many things. End world hunger, close the gap between the poor and the rich, and lessen poverty and homelessness. I shake my head. You're trying to make taking away people's free will sound virtuous. It is, she retorts. I blink, absolutely confounded. Are we in a movie? There's no way you're serious. Turning to Zaid, I find him staring at Claire, absently rubbing his fingers together. His brain churning. She's serious, isn't she? He cocks a brow.
It would appear so.
More than anything, I'd love to know what he's thinking. This is something you only see in theaters or books, some New World Order shit that seems so far outside the realm of possibility. People turn it into fiction for entertainment. I've literally written books like this myself.
You're exchanging one form of slavery for another,
he says finally. I'm exchanging human suffering for a new, better world, she argues. The technology you could create would advance us into an entirely new era. She turns her attention to me, and I realize she is a fucking reptile. She's a goddamn snake. No one would ever suffer through what you have ever again. No more children sacrificed, no more women sold. I would dismantle it all. What's stopping you from doing this now? I argue. What's stopping you from trying to take over? Zaid, she answers simply, turning to address him. You've been a thorn in my side since you created your organization and have set out to destroy everything I've worked hard for. And I'll admit, you're quite good at it, which is why I want to form an alliance where we are working together, not against each other. I will give you what you want so badly, and in return, you help me with what I want.
Talk to me like I'm stupid, Claire.
Zaid says dryly.
You want me to stop exposing the government. No, you want more than that. You want me to create some type of technology to implant in people's brains and make them actual robots? Make it to where they have no fight?
She raises her brows, a smile forming. Now there's an idea. I can create a new world with laws and consequences for breaking them. Your technology could advance us and make it easier to enforce these laws. We could force people to walk in a straight line, wherever we draw it. But taking away their ability to think for themselves, my God, that'd be wonderful. Her eyes alight with excitement. Could you do that? I can only gape at her, utterly speechless. Does ending human trafficking sound like a dream? Absolutely. But in exchange for some fantastical idea to rip away people's free will and turn them into zombies. I'm not even sure what exactly she'd do with them all, but I don't care to know. I want the same thing Zaid has always wanted, to eradicate the skin trade. But that desire has never come with unrealistic expectations.
Technology can do anything. Its only limitation is its creator,
Zaid says. She grins, and I see something twinkle in her eye that she's stolen from so many. From me. Hope. But it doesn't belong to her. It belongs to the souls she's responsible for breaking. You see? We can do anything, she breathes. I believe you have no limitations. Zaid's stare darkens and the tightness in my chest eases.
You're right, Claire. I don't.
She completely misinterprets his meaning, because her smile only widens, too blinded by the possibilities to see what's lying in wait. You already have power, I remind her. You're a shadow government that controls the entire country, more so now with your partners dead. That's not enough for you? Now you want world domination? She leans forward, baring her teeth as she hisses. Maybe your puny brain isn't...
You know what your problem is?
Zaid cuts in.
You don't know the first fucking thing about forming an alliance. Do you really think insulting her is going to get you anywhere?
Zaid stands, and though I can see Claire fighting with herself, she forces her spine straight. Her bodyguards take aim, but Zaid moves as if he's encased in bulletproof armor. My heart picks up speed, adrenaline surfacing because the bozo does not, in fact, have on bulletproof armor, and if one bullet comes anywhere near him, I'm going to fucking lose it.
Belittling those who support you isn't smart. Haven't you read the history books? Using fear to demand respect is a fragile construct. It doesn't last because no one can trust you, and the first opportunity they have to betray you, they take. Z isn't built on fear, Claire. It's built on the mutual desire to kill people like you. And you know what? My organization trusts me to do that.
Her eyes widen, sensing the incoming doom before it happens. A line of bombs is planted along the front of the distillery, right below where Claire's men are standing. In seconds, the explosives detonate, creating a deafening blast. The force of the explosion sends us back a step or two, and I cover my face as debris flies around us. We made sure the bomb wasn't so powerful that it'd send the building crashing down around us, but enough to blow someone, or someones, to pieces. A few of her guards who were standing on the outskirts wriggle, missing limbs but still alive and set on going out in a blaze of glory. They're shot dead before they can lift their guns towards Zaid and me. His team behind us and hiding in the depths of the distillery. Zaid seizes Claire by the throat and lifts her in the air, a snarl overtaking his face. Her eyes bulge as fire rages behind her, washing her in the very glow her soul will forever be consumed in.
You sent my world crashing down around me just like this, remember? Setting off bombs and then taking Addie from me? How does it feel, Claire? To have come so close to succeeding, only for your soul to be ripped away instead.
She kicks her legs desperately, trying and failing to gain some type of footing to relieve the chokehold Zaid has her in. Clawing his skin, she leaves trails as red as the paint on her nails.
Would you like to do the honors, baby?
He asks, looking over his shoulder at me with eyes as bright as the fire before us. Something deep and carnal flickers in my stomach, and I can't deny the excitement thrumming in my bloodstream any more than Zaid can. Yes, I smile, approaching the pair. He readjusts, gripping Claire by the nape and holding her in place, despite her desperate efforts to get away. Clutching my black and purple knife tightly, I lift it to her throat, pressing until blood sprouts beneath the blade. This woman is responsible for every one of my demons. I was fairly normal before the society laid eyes on me. And while fear and adrenaline always did something inexplicable to me, the thought of murdering someone was repulsive. It was something I rallied against when Zaid came into my life, and even when I fell in love with him. It was something that I hadn't fully accepted yet. And now look. She's faced with her own creation, an angel of death with a knife to her throat and intoxicated by the sight of her blood. Please, she begs shrilly. We can work something out. You reap what you sow, Claire, I say. then slowly slice the knife across her throat, cutting through sinew and muscle. Blood splatters across my face, but I rejoice in the feel of it. I stop right before the jugular, wanting her death to be a slow and painful one. Will it be her own life flashing before her eyes, or all the ones that she stole? I hope they come down from paradise and personally drag her to fucking hell. Slowly suffocating on her blood, Zaid drags her over to the raging fire in the front of the distillery, her men's dead bodies scattered. Claire's fight increases, and even amid death, she can feel when it's only going to get worse. Pausing before a fire, Zaid grips her bloody throat in his fist and lifts her, staring into her wide, desperate eyes.
Fucking burn, bitch.
He growls, then vaults her into it, her body instantly consumed in flames. Choked screaming arises, but the sounds can hardly make it through. Her form convulses and thrashes, and I wrinkle my nose at the rancid stench that follows. She walked into this place firmly believing she could conquer the world, if only she gave Zaid the one thing he's been working so hard for. Doesn't she know? Zaid is a god, and the only one who will conquer this world is him.
Okay, and that is going to conclude today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed chapters 40 and 41. Again, next week will be the last of Haunting Adeline. All right, so next week will be the last of Haunting Adeline. The week after that, I would say starting of April, we'll be doing a brand new book. So look out for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, being here, enjoying, all that good stuff. Love you all. I will see you on Friday if you're on Patreon. And if you're not on Patreon, I will see you on Monday for our live stream. I might see you on Friday. I don't know. It depends if I live stream or not. I'll post and notify you guys if I do live stream on Friday. But if anything, I'll see you on Monday for our live stream on Monday. Peace.